The idea of something in Melee being weird is such an interesting concept. It's an idea which is different depending on who you talk to. Sometimes the weirdest sets are the ones that are ordinary in the places that you least expect. Sometimes the weirdest players are the ones who are living the most normal lives imaginable. Sometimes the weirdest gameplay can barely be called gameplay at all. But every so often, you'll encounter a player who puts all their points into the weird stuff. An exceptionally quirky player, drawn to Melee for its explicit inherent weirdness. And sometimes, exceptionally quirky things will happen to these especially quirky people. This story is about one such moment. A collision of two very interesting players, resulting in one of the most unbelievably bizarre single games ever caught on tape. A game which featured Savestate, Armada, and a single Turnip, which was thrown 64 times in a single game. Armada is a well-known all-time great of the game, and requires very little in the way of introduction. If you know anything about Melee, even just in passing, you are well aware of how good Armada is. But Savestate is a player you may not have heard of, despite being a player who is hard to forget once you know them. You may have heard their name in passing as the SRM and Ace theory crafter and former world record holder in Ocarina of Time Any Percent.
Really light split. But we got it.
Or as the Stadium player who figured out how to control Melee's RNG.
Ready, go!
Hey, there it is. Nice.
Or maybe even as the mastermind behind some of the highest quality tournament streams.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Savestate may very well have a strong claim to the title of Melee's single weirdest player. So when they were slated to play Armada at Super Smash Con 2018, the stars aligned for a brief moment to allow something truly amusing to happen. 2.5 minutes into their set, Armada stumbles into the Frozen Turnip glitch. The Frozen Turnip glitch is a version 1.0 glitch that has been known about since as early as 2002, but the mechanism for triggering it took 13 years for the community to figure out. For over a decade, the glitch eluded the top glitch hunters in Melee history, the mystery growing larger every time an unwary Smashboards poster would post a new video where they trigger it by accident. This all remained a mystery until a Virginia glitch hunter named Vesny set his sights on the glitch in 2015. After fruitlessly scouring all of the available footage of the glitch, and going as far as analyzing variables like dumped textures in hopes of finding some sort of observable pattern, he devised a systematic approach to recreating the glitch and detailed it in one of the best posts ever made in the forum's history. To solve it, Vesny ran the game in an emulator at 2x speed, using the game's hidden debug mode to set damage ratio to 0.10, offense to 0.10, and defense to 3.0. He placed 4 CPU peaches on the Escape to Brinstar stage, and set 2 of the CPUs to a special CPU type which uses down B more frequently. After this yielded enough examples of the glitch, Vesny was able to determine that the setup for the glitch was actually fairly straightforward. All you have to do is get hit out of the very first frame of Peach's up B with an item in your hand, so that the input registers, but nothing comes out. A 1-frame, version-exclusive, 0 visual cue window. It was a legendary discovery, a decade-old problem solved in a brilliantly methodical way, solving a mystery which stumped even the most knowledgeable glitch hunters the scene had available. I could go on about the properties of this weird floating turnip, but instead, I'm going to ask you to put yourself in Armada's shoes. Just for a moment. You are Armada. As far as you're concerned, you are the best Melee player to ever live. You've played thousands of tournament matches in countries all over the world. You've triumphed over countless rivals. You've won the biggest Melee tournaments to ever be held. And right now, this fucking Link player has suspended the laws of physics. You've never seen anything like this. But like, come on. You are Armada. Nobody is better at using turnips than you are. Sure, this is a little weird, but it's nothing you can't handle. Perhaps this is just a one-time thing, and re-grabbing the turnip will turn it back to normal. Frozen Turnip, property number 1. A frozen turnip is frozen forever and will never vanish. Savestate grabs the turnip and starts to play a zoning game over the top of it, like the turnip is some sort of volleyball net. They do what would only be described as a truly awful grab to any uninformed watcher. Link's grab is notoriously laggy, so Armada has enough time to jump, float, initiate a forward air, and bash his face directly into Savestate's turnip. Frozen turnip, property number 2. A frozen turnip has a hitbox, just like any other turnip does once it's thrown. On some level, Armada probably knew this. It's possible he just forgot Savestate was the last one to throw the turnip, since Peach players rarely have to track projectile ownership for more than a few seconds. In any case, the small crowd watching loves it.
What is going on?
Armada throws the turnip and tries to float above it, hoping that its hitbox will allow him to establish control over a larger area beneath him. But Savestate manages to grab the turnip despite being more than half screen away. Frozen turnip, property number 3. The more times an item is grabbed, the bigger its grab box becomes. And I mean a lot bigger. Savestate decides that they want to play a little bit more volleyball. But after a moment, they decided to move forwards in forward smash, which Armada successfully shields. Armada float cancel nairs them out of shields, and in his attempt to return to the center of the stage, runs face first into Savestate's turnip once again, like a gag ripped straight out of a Sunday morning cartoon. It's something that will happen again and again in this set, and it will somehow manage to become even funnier each time. Armada pulls the lucky Stitch face and manages to build a substantial lead with it. What follows for the remainder of this game can only be described as complete nonsense.
That's keys! See that man Savestate like this?
It's one of those moments that makes you remember that Melee, for all its seriousness that we inject into it, is a video game. And no matter how much you try to brutally triumph over your opponent, sometimes you just can't help yourself, and you accidentally have fun. I spoke with Savestate about this set, and their description is better than anything I could possibly come up with myself. It was a mutual agreement in the chaos of tournament pools, where we decided to take this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to enjoy Melee just a little bit more than usual. The game ends, they bump fists. Armada grins at Savestate as he leans back in his chair.
That's actually never happened to me. Yeah, really, that's really good.
Version 1.0 copies of Melee are rare, and seeing a copy at a Melee tournament is somehow even rarer. Since homebrew Wii consoles became the predominant method of installing the out-of-production game, Event's reliance on physical discs dwindled in favor of loading the same 1.02 ISO onto every console. Modern rule sets largely specify version 1.02 as the tournament standard, both for accessibility reasons and to avoid the hassle of potential game crash glitches, which were of course invented by Savestate. It's very possible we will never see another major tournament set featuring the frozen turnip glitch ever again, especially not one featuring a player as prominent as Armada, whose retirement came immediately after this tournament. The window for a set like this occurring was so short, having to have happened after understanding the glitch, but before widespread tournament standardization. It was so short, and yet it happened anyways. Melee history has a way of being this way. A series of fleeting, unlikely events chained together. And, at least for me, I think it's important for us to appreciate these moments, both in the moment and in hindsight. Sometimes, the things that were the most fleeting end up being the things that were the most fun.